Hi, Aaron. Julia here, recording this July 24th, 2022. And just want to talk a little bit about our vibration, or voltage, or whatever you want to call it, our frequency, and how to be at the proper frequency. Because it seems like a lot of people think that to be at the proper frequency, we just need to be fearless. And that's definitely a huge part. But there's lots of other aspects that affect your frequency as well. One of them is definitely what you put in your body. And not just food, but drugs and alcohol too. Alcohol definitely changes your frequency. Alcohol, I think, invites spirit attachment, something else I want to talk about today, perhaps. But definitely lowers your frequency and doesn't put you at an optimal voltage. So, if you are fearless, but you're just partying all the time, I don't know if you're necessarily at the right frequency. And I don't know if that's a frequency with the coming Phoenix event in 2040 that would be targeted or not. But yeah, alcohol is definitely put here to, use to control us and subdue us. And yeah, I would just be very careful with alcohol. I have a video here on my channel about my experience with alcohol, spirits, entities, energies, whatever you want to call it. But they were definitely there. I think another thing that really affects our frequencies is eating really dense, heavy foods, especially meat. And again, do we really need to eat meat, even if you believe we need protein? Do you need to get it from animals that have been tortured? I mean, just think of that energy you're absorbing from these animals that have that fear when they're getting killed to be your food that you don't even really need. I don't think we necessarily need any food. We all have the potential to be breatharians, and maybe we were breatharians before. Maybe that's what the whole apple was, is to get us into this paradigm where we think we need food to survive. And that's not the case. So yeah, to keep your frequency where you want it, you can't just have that fearless mindset. And you also can't be just like an asshole. If you're fearless but you're mean and you don't want to ever help people and you're self-centered and self-serving and you're not in service of others at all, well, being fearless isn't going to be enough to keep your frequency where you want it. You have to genuinely be a good person to have that proper frequency. And if you're always trying to get one over on somebody else for whatever reason, then I'd say your frequency isn't optimal. And regarding spirit attachments, that's an interesting topic. When I first found the Language Lessons of the Hearts videos, I watched them all because they were kind of training videos to teach people to help themselves heal emotionally. And there were a lot of videos in there about spirit attachments and how to deal with them, etc. And I think we all know people who one day they'll say something and have a certain perspective, and then we'll bring it up or whatever, that subject will come up and they're totally opposite. And you're like, what? Is this the same person that said this? And I think, we might all have spirit attachments. I know I had them. before with my incident that I talk about in my alcohol spirits video. No doubt in my mind. And those particular entities were very interesting because they help you attract like minds. So those were from alcohol. So all my friends that, that had our lives that revolved around partying and alcohol, they, made me really attractive to them and charismatic or whatever, because these alcohol spirits that were in me, that's part of their task, is to, keep you at that vibration. And what's the best way than having people spur you on, to party even more, to put even more substances in your body. And that goes for pharmaceuticals as well. But yeah, spirit attachments. And I'm sure there's good ones too. And maybe we always have them. Some people say our higher self, maybe that's a spirit attachment, so to speak. But perhaps, we always have some energies in us that steer us. And that's another reason why it's good to do your emotional healing, so you don't have this subconscious part of you steering the show that you don't even know what the program is there. So you want to make sure you have the right program in your subconscious to carry out the kind of life that you want. And again, you can find Language Lessons of the Heart playlist in my Save playlist to do emotional healing work. But yeah, so maybe we always have these spirit attachments, and they're either negative ones or positive ones. And my experience with the negative ones, when they entered and exited my body, there was a real noticeable effect on my body. And I haven't really noticed anything since those incidents, but doesn't mean that I don't have different spirit attachments. And even sometimes some of the things I think, I'm like, why am I thinking that? That's not who I am. And I'll have to correct myself. So maybe these energies are always just, floating around trying to grab onto us when we're at the right frequency. And maybe the goal is to get at a frequency where it's just you. And there are no other energies running the show, good or bad. I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on spirit attachments and your experience with them. Because I think it's a real phenomenon. And it's often ignored. And that's why there's been exorcisms and things like that. Shamans know about these things. And I think they're real. And I don't think you need a priest or anything if you do have spirit attachments. I think all you need to do is change your vibration and get it as close to optimal as possible, and then they'll leave. That's exactly what happened with me. Unintentionally, but looking back on it, that's what happened. So, So let me know your thoughts on that. Keeping your vibration level, your voltage optimal, ways to do that, and spirit attachments, how to deal with those. All right, thanks for listening. Hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and we'll talk next time. Ciao, ciao.